This video is intended to be viewed by my class for a project, but if you're here just because you feel like it, then okay, I guess. You are alive right now. And right now, a lot is happening. We're struggling our way out of a recent horrible crisis, trying to find happiness, and dealing with the encroaching terror of jazz music around every corner. While our issues, adventures, and the like feel very important to us now, it's good to remember that these same problems and joys have happened to others too, and ages before us. Look no further than 100 years ago, in what we 2024ians dub the Roaring Twenties. It was so long ago that they didn't even have Cheez-Its, except for the fact that they did. I didn't think these were that old. For as much as we like to think we as a people have regressed, we're relatively the same as we were. While there's many factors to look at here, when comparing cultures, I like to use the 3 F's. Food, fun, and fashion. As for food stops and such, you wouldn't believe how many had their start in or before the 20s. 7-Eleven,
Coca-Cola,
RC Cola,
Caesar
Fortune
salad,
cookies,
processed
electric
cheese,
refrigerators,
self-serve
hair
grocery
curling
stores,
irons,
mouse
automatic
traps,
machine
sprinkling
guns,
systems,
Mr.
American
Peanut, daylight
cheese,
savings time, and
and
improper use of government money. On Pine China. While big boy food brands like McDonald's and KFC didn't come around for another 20 and 30 years respectively, a lot of conveniences have stuck around for some time. As for fun, most of the audience watching this video probably just doom scrolls, plays video games, or talks to other people. If you're rich, you go out and actually do something. Surprisingly, it was these same things that occupied us back then. Not quite, but you get the gist. People would, and still, attend book clubs, listen to the radio, watch movies, and watch people injure each other for fun. I mean, play sports. Sure, we do this with much more screen usage, but people still seem to generally like the same things. While I'd love to talk about the differences in fashion and what they mean, my idea of fashion is polos and t-shirts at best, so I'm nowhere near qualified enough to talk about this. There are others who have made way better videos that focus on just the fashion of the time, and I heavily recommend watching them if you're ever interested. Now, clearly we have some similarities, and by that I mean so far we've barely changed. So what have we even done to grow and progress as a people? Oh! So, since 1920, we've got, drumroll please, citizens of the US are no longer prevented from voting due to discrimination. Gay marriage, people being allowed to be themselves, typically, Chapel Roan, bananas that are less banana than the original banana, more attention to minority groups, typically, more awareness for our declining environment, failing mental health programs, the horrors of late-stage capitalism, and that good old taste of existential dread. Just for $4.99. Well, there was a lot more that wasn't allowed 100 years ago, alcohol being one of them. A lot of the good movements were taking place during this time. Women finally got to vote. Youngsters were rebelling against their parents with immoralities like the Charleston and jazz. Which brings to mind the Harlem Renaissance, which, using the power of jazz and blues music, brought more light to black culture. African Americans were getting more protections and, with changing views, allowed to move up in the world. A bit. People were still quite racist. It certainly wasn't all sunshines and rainbows. As in the mid-1920s, the KKK had 2 million members. It was full of people trying to take others down in any way possible. In the name of old-fashioned family values, of course. Wait, that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? To say we've come a long way in the past 100 years wouldn't be a lie. But it wouldn't quite be the truth either. We've made so much progress, but we're still so very far from perfect. The same thing could probably be said 100 years from now, too. But as the ones who are here, right now, no matter what decade you're viewing this in, it's our duty to make sure that the next 100 years are the best 100 yet. So that way when I'm 100, I can make a sequel video for some cold, hard cash. Bye! $7-Eleven, Coca-Cola, RC Cola, Creeper. Aw, man. Well, there was a lot more that wasn't allowed 100 years ago, alcohol being one of them. A lot of the good movements were taking place during this time. There's so much spit in my mouth. I need it to leave.